Hello, I'm Richard Raffan. I've just made this little laburnum box. I haven't made the whole thing because I roughed it out about 40 years ago, and so you're just going to see me completing it. It's for a commission, and the request was for a fairly straight-sided box with a couple of beads at the join and an inset lid, inset dome. And so that's what you're going to see, and you see everything. All the turning, all the sanding. I have an order for a box about 2.5 inches diameter with beads at the join and an inset dome on the lid. So what I have here is a piece of laburnum, or it's a roughed out box. So there's the lid and this is the base, and this would have been roughed out I think in the late 80s. The mid-90s at the very latest, but I think these were done, yes, I'm pretty certain about 1986. So, the lid and the base, and that will now go into here. So I do the inside of the lid first. That trued up as much as possible. I am running at 1650. 3/4 inch square inch scraper. The reason I'm not doing this a skew chisel from here is because on the inside that will splinter away, so that's all I need there. Now I want to cut a cylindrical flange here, cylindrical inside, straight side, so the rest needs to be high enough so this edge is all that's in contact with the wood. I take great pains to measure this because I'm after a suction fit, and if I don't get this right I might as well not bother with the rest of the box. So what I want is to let the spring calipers ride out at the back, and then as I pull it I want to feel very slight resistance, and it's fairly unusual. I think it's got it right first time. 1 inch round goes across the top. I don't have much to play with in the way of extra depth on the top here. Like to leave a little bit of decoration in the middle. Got quite a bit harder with age. Maybe it always was hard, and I can't remember. Right, that will be fine. And I have about 3 millimeters left in the top. I'll try the blue first, 240 grit. Pretty good cut off the tool. Right, there's a little bit of chipped out grain there from where I had that catch earlier on. And I'm watching what's happening over at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I haven't quite got that in the corner, so I'm going to get in there using the skew on its side, kind of negative rate scraper if you like. Yeah, it's looking all right. Looking so all right, hardly needs sanding. 320. Beeswax. The sock. A cleaner sock. Next thing to do here is to, whatever happens, I need beads at the join, and it's much easier to put the bottom of the bead on here now than it is a bit later. That top rim there is chamfered slightly in. That's all I need to do at this stage. The base goes on, and then I can grip that on a fairly small diameter. I put these lines on originally because I turned these as a cylinder, I think, and then chopped them into box blanks, as far as I can remember. So first thing is to trim it up, skew chisel, peeling cut. And now to fit the top and eyeball that. Right, it's not down to size, I've got a taper there, so bring that down a bit. And around. That just fits over the end, there's a little burnish mark. And I need it to go in about 9 millimeters, 3/8 of an inch. Right, so I don't need to do any more to that at the moment. Oh, I don't have very much to spare. That's putting it mildly. Now, I originally roughed this out with a rounded inside, and it actually feels quite nice. I think I might just do that again and do that with my 1-inch round nose here. A little bit too high. The tool's got to be down when it's at centre, which it is, but once I'm away from centre I can tilt it up and get an element of a shear cut. The handle of this tool is a wee bit short. It's one of my original handles, 55 years old, and had bits cut off over the years. Could do with being another 6 inches or so longer. So I've got more leverage. Good. On the inside of these I tend to start with 180. Round over the inner lip so that it's more comfortable when you reach into the box. Blue 240 grit. Just see how I'm going, although I think it'll be fine, yes. And 320. So now fit the lid on tight. Now shake the dust out, pop that on. Where it rubs is where it fits. That little burnish mark there, working on that. Normally prefer a deeper flange than this, so just check that. Oh, I can go down another 1/8 of an inch, 3 mil. That's good. better suction and more margin for error. So just rotate the skew edge onto that shoulder and that'll leave it nice and clean. Yep. Crunching sound is good, the pistol shot is not. This is the first chance to really stuff up a box. Just to push the lid on too hard and it splits. So just moving the point of the tool in the long corner straight in as a kind of peeling cut. I only want dust off this. You've got to be careful just about putting this on too hard as well, because you can have an instant fit with burnt wood, which is not necessarily what we're after. So for the moment this is going to be a cylindrical shape. Feels better. Good. So I can now reduce this. And the thickness of this shoulder really tells me where I am up in the lid. So the reason I'm doing that is because I felt I undercut this shoulder quite a bit and I'm now too long here. So I don't cut across that, that's just going to break the inside grain. Come in, need to know where I'm going. Come to about there. Just going to use the bevel side. Right, that is up nice and tight. Now a peeling cut to reduce the overall diameter, and up here I've barely got room for it with that tool, so I need a smaller one. It's the 1/2 inch. And peeling it down, projecting the curve into the chuck jaw. Just put the speed up to just under 1800. get the curve flowing through under the bead. I use peeling cuts there for safety. I'm going to move the camera and try and give you a slightly better view, but I'm not sure that I can at the moment. My main problem is eyesight. I haven't done these for a long time. So holding the tool, thumb on one side, fingers on the other, and then just arcing it in, seeing a little V groove between the two beads. And then I'm just going to dab those beads with a little peeling cut, which if you did any harder would be an unmitigated disaster. I need a bit more of a, regarded as a swing. That's the moment I need to do the top. So the idea here was to inset the top so the tool is skew chisel. This is flat, used like a negative rake scraper. Just going to ease that corner in. Just dragging this short corner across the grain. Good, now it'd be nice to kind of round this to see how much I've got to play with in there. A bit more, good. And on that I need to decide what to do with the bit which came out. So that little piece. Just like that, and put a little chamfer on the edge. To get a little bit more shape onto the body here. So I'm going to do the peeling cut. Right, that's really not taking off or shaving, so that gets honed. So there's a little burr on the upper side. Right, sand that, or sand the lid, so I can do all the rest the other way around. So 320 will be enough, or 240 will be enough for that. Slight bit of picked out grain there, so just come back over that with the skew. Now I've just honed it on that side, this time I hone it on the other side, and so there's a burr on the upper edge. Doesn't want to go. Almost. I could go back to 180, but I think this will do it. $3.20. I just need to ease it off so I can get some abrasive in the split just below the bees. And I can go back on again. Oh, got quite a corner in there, difficult to get the wax in. Or more difficult to get the wax out. Alright, so the next stage is to get this to a suction fit. Actually, the next stage probably is to sand the inside, because I didn't do that. Just in there, and up on the lip. At the moment when I bounce this on, going on very gently, you can see there's a burnish mark right in the middle. So what I'm going to do is just round this over very slightly, using the skew again, honing it. There's quite a lot of honing this one today. Just taking away a little bit over towards the headstock side, the base of the box, and take a little bit off the top too. Tight is not necessarily good, so just take that down a little bit. I can see a burnish mark fairly well up. The flange. I'm just going to get at this up against this shoulder with the 320. Now, if you're new to box making, you're going to have to overcut these quite often before you realise when enough is enough. It just needs a shade more. Next thing is to reverse this onto a chuck of some sort. I've got something here I was playing around with. Alright, that will grab that diameter. True this up. Now this is rather like fitting the box lid. The burnish mark somewhere around there. To remember that often when you're sanding, you round over this so the widest, well, narrowest point might be just a little bit down from the rim. Got myself a polish mark there. Now I finish this off. I'm going to use the corner of the skew just to drift that in leftwards. I'm afraid I'm too lazy to move the camera, because I know I'll have to come back to so you can see what's happening on the end grain. I'm really just using a light peeling cut, dust there, give myself a bit of a curve on the base. Across the bottom I can use the skew, but the gouge is a lot more comfortable. Mostly because if I have a catch, if it wants to come loose, I can keep the whole of the bevel of the gouge against the wood and generally keep the piece on the chuck. Whereas with the skew that's much more difficult. For the edge. Little arcing cut. And stick a bit of decoration on the bottom. Blue, which is the 240 grit. Bit of blue. And 320. I'm not doing the whole of the bottom because I'm going to write on that in ink. Oops, forgot to apply the other sock. Well, that for the moment is going to be quite tight because the bottom's hot and the top is not. The grain lines up pretty well. Right, so that's another box. And if I need to relieve this to just loosen up the lid a bit, that goes back onto there and I can get in onto that flange. In fact, I might do that anyway, I think. just soften it up a little bit. 320. Now it's been waxed, so first bit we'll stuff the abrasive up, and then I can turn that over and do another bit. Right, that's it.